Well, hello everyone. Welcome to our show, Exploring Tampa Bay Commercial Real Estate. I'm Jay Wittner.
And I'm Rachael Manzanares.
We talk about things that are happening in the west coast of Florida, the greater Tampa Bay area. And today we're going to be talking about transactions that happened in August of 2021 with our first item happening at this community in Riverview. It's called the Crosstown Apartments. And it sold for $54 million. By the way, I hope you like apartments. There's going to be plenty of the show this time. This is a 320 unit complex built in '88. So this may be the oldest one that we have in the show this time.
Yeah.
The price comes to $169,000 per unit. And there's a real strong correlation between the age of the complex and the price per unit. We'll get higher and higher prices as we go through the show today. The seller had done some renovations to all the second floor units here, and that seller was Banks Realty, and the buyer was Bridge Investment Group. And it's located near I-75 and 301 in Brandon, as you can see from our little map here. And the address is 10301 Marsh Harbor Way. And you can talk about some apartments.
All right. So we're moving over to St. Pete now for this next slide. This is a 1701. It's a new apartment complex here in St. Pete that just sold for $82 million. So this is 243 doors, and again, it's new, just built in 2020. 243,000 square feet. This ranges from studios up to 2 bedrooms. So this comes out to $335 per door. So as Jay mentioned on the last slide, a little bit more expensive for this one as it's a little bit newer. The seller for this one was Berkeley Point Capital, and the buyer was General Services Corporation. And the building and the amenities are top notch, as you can see from the image here. Gorgeous pool. They really did a great job with this building. So this is just northwest of the Tropicana Field. As you might expect, the address is 1701 Central Avenue, so very fitting name. And over to Tampa.
That would be consistent. So I always put the address in, even though it's 17.
It is. It makes sense.
Okay.
It makes sense.
So I hope that you're not tired of apartments yet. We have another one here. This one sold for $157 million, Anchor Riverwalk, and coming to a really exciting number, $398,000 per door. Wow. Is getting really high. It's a 5-story building on a 5-acre parcel. And it's pretty new, built in 2018. And I thought it was very attractive looking from the pictures. I haven't been to this particular one.
Yeah.
The seller was the Connor Group, and the buyer was TA Realty. And the community was fully leased, which obviously helps with the sale.
For sure.
Going that way.
Mm-hmm.
And this, at the time, represented the second highest price per door for an apartment community in Tampa. So, anchors away, they did really well. And it's located near I-275 and US 41, as you can see from the map there. And the address is 109 West Fortune Street. So I guess they paid a fortune.
Yes, they paid a fortune. Back over, and we're moving back over to St. Pete. Here we're going to talk about the Icon Central. This just sold for $149 million. This is a 15-story, very new community here in St. Pete, 368 apartments. This comes out to $407,000 per unit, beating out the performance of Anchor Riverwalk that we just talked about literally a week before. So we're moving along over here in Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
So again, Icon Central, it's the second highest price per door for an apartment community in Tampa Bay, just barely beating out Anchor from a week before. This was sold by the Related Group, and the buyer was the Camden Property Trust. Icon Central has thus been renamed Camden Central. We do have another Camden property here in St. Pete called Camden Pier District. So it'll help us differentiate. And this one is just located near the Chihuly Collection off of Central Avenue. This is 855 Central. All right.
Okay. We're sort of moving away from apartments into a related thing of student housing.
Very similar, not
Very
the same.
similar to apartments, but this is a 23-story project, so very ambitious. It's called the Henry, and it's student housing, and it's opened up just in time for the new school year. So I'm sure they had some angina with trying to get ready and
Oh,
finish
yeah.
the building in time for
I'm
this
sure.
winter. So 188 units in here, ranging from 1 to 4 bedrooms. And the way all the student housing works is they calculate stuff on the number of beds, and it comes out to be a little over 500 beds in the 188 units, because that's how they price things.
Makes sense.
So this is a $100 million thing, and it was developed by the Hallstatt Real Estate Partners. And it has a really pretty design, and so you see the interior here. I think the exterior looks cool as well.
Yeah.
And the building is located less than a mile from the University of Tampa, so very convenient for the students there.
It was needed in this area.
And it's a block east, more or less, from the Stratus Center, and it's at 100 East Tyler Street.
Very nice. So speaking of USF, we're going to stay in Tampa and talk about the St. Moritz Apartments. This just sold for $27 million. So this is a 168-door community. It was built in 1984. And the layout for this is townhomes that sit on about a 9-acre parcel. The seller for this was the Creative Realty Partners, and the buyer was TG Realty of Brooklyn. So they're planning to do some pretty extensive renovations. Obviously, the age of the property is probably about needed.
Yeah.
And this is located north of Fletcher Avenue. We're at 1383 Heritage Club Drive. Jay?
We actually have a non-apartment transaction here.
And an iconic one at that.
That's right. So back in the day, there was the St. Pete Times, the newspaper for St. Pete, and they merged them with the Tampa Tribune and became the Tampa Bay Times. But as the newspaper businesses felt pressure from the internet and other things lately, they shifted a year or two ago from daily printing to twice a week printing newspapers.
Right.
And that caused them to outsource the actual printing and distribution part. It just didn't make sense for 2 days a week to do all that.
Right.
So the facility we're talking about is where they did the actual printing of everything. And they sold the presses a while ago, 6 months back or something. Now they have sold the 27-acre parcel and a very large building on the site for $21 million. The buyer was 20 Lakes Holdings, and that's a part of Alden Global Capital.
Gotcha.
And the proceeds from the sale will greatly reduce the debt level of the paper, which is important for a variety of reasons we won't get into today. It's located at the intersection of 34th Street, which is 19, and 13th Avenue North, and the address is 1301 North 34th Street.
Awesome. Well, that's our show for you today, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, I'm Rachael Manzanares. This is Jay Wittner. Please make sure to subscribe to our channel. You can find all of our information here, and we hope to see you next time.
And we're not going to rename the show the Multifamily Hour, but I'm sure we'll have some apartments to talk about next month too. Thanks for visiting. We'll see you next time.